When did a company's product promotion go horribly wrong? Supposedly, some company had a slogan, "It takes a tough man to make a tender chicken." When this was translated for advertising in another language, the meaning was altered to, "It takes a hard man to make a chicken aroused." OWO cluck cluck. Apple loading the new U2 album onto every iPhone without anyone's consent, and at first you couldn't believe it? My wife is so pissed that whenever she plugs her phone into a new car's Apple CarPlay, that beep album starts playing. Coca-Cola had a promo in Canada where random French and English words were printed under the cap. They stopped it after a lady got the words "you" and asterisk 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 asterisk. So making similar here in NZ. There was a Coca-Cola ad that ran the slogan, "Kia ora mate." Kia ora being a greeting in Maori. What they didn't consider is that mate in Maori means death. Hello, die. The hello, the. Barnes & Noble last year ran a Black History Month thing. They printed copies of public domain classic works of English language literature with front covers, depicting the protagonist as black. Frankenstein's monster had an afro. Dorothy wore red Air Jordans. Thankfully it was cancelled before it went live. Because nothing says fighting racism like stereotypes. More like the laziest way possible and without acknowledging black literature itself. McDonald's ran a contest during the 1984 Summer Olympics where you would get a scratch-off card that, when scratched off, would reveal an event. If the US won gold in that event, you'd win a Big Mac. If they won silver, you'd win a large fries, and bronze was a free soda. What McDonald's didn't plan for was the Soviet bloc countries boycotting the Olympics, so the US won medals in 174 events as a result, 83 of which were gold medals. McDonald's lost millions giving away free Big Macs and fries. The Simpsons. I ate free that summer. When you got the free food, the container it came in had another ticket, which ended up giving you more free food. When DiGiorno's Pizza misunderstood the hashtag Why I Stayed tag and used it to promote their pizza. Hashtag Why I Stayed, the pizzas were so good. American Airlines had a program called Air Pass. The deal was you bought lifetime membership for $250,000 United States dollars, and you got unlimited first-class travel for life. It's the kind of scheme you come up when you just want some cash in the bank right away. The problem is that people ended up using it a lot. Two pass holders, Stephen Rothstein and Jacques Broom, were costing the airline about $1 million United States dollars every year. It was an unmitigated disaster for the airline. I recall that another airlines had a similar pass, but it was good for a year, unlimited flying. My grandparents bought two and we didn't see them for a whole year but got lots of postcards from their year-long travel. This was late 70s or early 80s. My memory is hazy. Lee Iacocca made Chrysler commercials in the 80s where he said, "If you can find a better car, buy it." In his book, he mentioned he got letters that said, "We found a better car, so we took your advice and bought it." Fire Festival. While the promotional content in of itself was beautifully done, it didn't at all reflect the actual conditions that were on the island. It was just a total disaster. The promotional content kept going despite the founders knowing full well that what they advertised was unachievable. Both Netflix and Hulu had docs made about it. Each are definitely worth a watch if still available. So did Internet Historian. I don't know as this counts, but when EA social media rep commented on Reddit trying to explain something about which made everything for EA so much worse. Isn't that the most downvoted comment ever? Yes it is. Years ago Red Lobster had an all-you-can-eat crab legs promo, and when they were estimating how much crab legs the average customer would consume, they figured about 2 pounds per person average. And boy, were they ever off. Anybody who knows anything about seafood will tell you that 2 lbs of crab legs is not really a whole lot since the majority of that weight is from the shells, so their miscalculation ended up costing them millions of dollars in losses literally overnight, since customers were consuming more like double that amount and more. Another factor is that the market price for crab varies according to how the harvest season is, which happened to be not so great that particular year and cost the company way more than normal, which also had a serious effect on their losses. Needless to say, the genius behind that great idea was asterisk 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 and probably used for crab bait to try to recover some losses. Tack onto that the cluster FXCK that was Chesapeake Bay Seafood House ran an all-you-can-eat buffet that included crab legs and Dungeness crab clusters. They figured based on pricing more like £3 per person. The actual meat content of snow and Dungeness crab is more like 40% of weight. I managed to take down 6 pounds of meat in 3 hours sitting. After the first hour and a half they passive-aggressively stopped clearing plates from my table. Around 2 hours mark the staff avoided the section I was sitting in entirely. At the end of the third hour, the manager let me know that they would have to stop serving me and could I please leave? No problem, thanks for picking up my tab. Based on wholesale market price at the time, I'd consumed $90 worth of product, and I was not the only one taking advantage. TLDR, don't advertise Ace crab legs unless you know how much to charge. Not Nintendo, but when Wii's were rare, a Sacramento area radio station held a Hold Your Wii for a Wii contest that involved chugging lots of water without taking a leak. One mother tried to win a console for her 3 kids and died of water intoxication. I've heard of this before, and yes, water does have a lethal dose. When Mountain Dew held sweepstakes to decide the name of a new flavor and the winner was Hitler, did nothing wrong. Gushing Granny should have won. Or Fapple. It's FAPPLE. Oh my god, who else remembers when Pepsi gave Diddy a bunch of money to come up with a new slogan and he comes back with brown and bubbly? Like, was there one single person on earth who didn't immediately think of diarrhea? Quiznos and the ad with rats. They were obscure characters called Spong monkeys, but nobody got the reference and just considered them run-over rats. Though was the final nail in the Quiznos coffin for me. Who'd thought that song sounding like it was written and performed by a band of 5-year-olds would sell product instead of make people shut it off ASAP? Never set foot in a Quiznos again after that. Imagine being a struggling franchisee and watching them do this with your mandatory marketing fees. Subway Jared was actually into kids. My GF took a photo with him when he visited her school to talk to the kids. Her mom still has it somewhere. She still shudders a bit at the thought of posing with him as a child. When Coca-Cola tried to sell bottled tap water in the UK with the slogans "full of spunk" and "can't live without spunk." Spunk is a British word for asterisk asterisk asterisk. This was made even more hilarious by the fact that all of the ads featured models splashing it on themselves, and featured quotes about enjoying it at home, in the gym, at work or in between. Spunk is not just a British word for asterisk asterisk asterisk. I can't wait for Kylie Jenner to give a Coke to a BLM protest police officer. Hashtag Coke and Pepsi stand for whatever buy our diabetes water. Speaking of Beatus water and promotions going beep up. That time Pepsi advertised you could buy a Harrier jet if you saved up enough points from the promotion. They also sold points, so some guy just bought a shitload and then tried to claim his jet. There was a lawsuit and everything. A lawsuit over military equipment that involves a company that sells sugar. Name something more American. IIRC. Pepsi was let off the hook because no one could reasonably expect to win a fighter jet. I feel like that judge should lose their America card. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want a fighter jet? Beep yo Bentley. I got a Harrier. To be fair, it's a British-built fighter jet. McDonald's advertised the Arch Deluxe meant to cater to an older demographic by having a commercial with a kid looking at the sandwich and going, "I don't get it." Everyone was like, good point, neither do we, and the Arch Deluxe bombed and the executives behind it fired. There was a lot more to its failure, but I love that one. They advertised against their own product. When everybody thought that Barnes & Noble cafes were Starbucks locations because of their huge Starbucks signs, resulting in lots of angry customers because they couldn't use their Starbucks cards and rewards at a place that looked just like a real Starbucks. When KFC stores first opened up in Japan, their slogan, "Finger Licking Good," was wrongly translated into "We will bite your fingers off." WKRP throwing free turkeys from a helicopter was definitely traumatic. As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. Wild turkeys can. I have witnessed it multiple times hunting. In 2018, DMC, a company that produces embroidery floss, had a contest where you submit an original cross-stitch pattern. If you won, your prize was exposure. DMC added a cash prize after receiving backlash. Susan Boyle's album party promotions #Susan album party. Say what you will, but everybody knew about Sus' new bump part. Sorry, new album. I recently talked about the incident where 4chan. They can single-handedly stall AI learning in the real world just by existing in its general vicinity. 4chan really is a strange beast. One minute they're turning an AI into a ******, the next they're helping identify an ISIS training camp. And then the next minute they're harmlessly destroying a man's sanity by playing IRL CTF. Honestly, 4chan probably could have found bin Laden years ago if they had wanted to. During the PS3 era, Sony had a famous ad campaign involving a character called Kevin Butler, a Sony